behind him because he's got his mid-mounted 5.2 litre V10. Just getting a little bit of fresh air into the car and into the driver. So there's Haase up to position number 10. So he's made a wholesale move forward with David Chen's, well, we say retirement because it's likely he will be moved to the outside of the circuit. There is Frankie Chung bringing up rear of field. Panda design on Scarface. Scarface being the nickname for the design of the Audis, the typical design that they have been running in recent seasons. Well, once the crane lifts that Ferrari across the barriers, you could expect, as Daniel Serra, his Harmony Racing teammate, just drives past the stricken car of the team owner. Disappointment for them. But for Haase, he'll be looking to see if he can't move any further forward. Sarah's just taken the lap record down to a 2:16.05. See whether or not Mortara has anything to take the drivers around him. Van der Linde, Marciello, Engel, all 2:16.3s. 2:16.2 for Farfus. The two Brazilian drivers really do seem to have something at this circuit. Juncadella also doing a 2:16.3. So the pace of the top drivers is very, very impressive. Yeah, frustration for David Chen. Let's hope they don't do more damage. No, they've certainly had plenty of experience doing this, and been a lot of cars recovered from the circuit these last 2 weekends. You can see with the nature of the circuit and the dramas that even the pro drivers have on a circuit like this. The amateur drivers who don't get the joy of competing week in and week out, whether it's on their local circuits or anywhere else in the world. They are very much journey drivers and pop up every now and then when an opportunity exists. Some drivers really only compete here at Macau. Zhuhai circuit, one of China's leading circuits, is probably about an hour or so if we're talking about traffic and border crossings, etc., from Macau, so it's not too far away. Of course, for the many Hong Kong drivers, Macau and Zhuhai are their destinations to compete. There's really nowhere to compete in Hong Kong. So a big part of the world for, or certainly a big part of China for competition and for motorsport. A number of teams based around Macau and around Zhuhai. At Absolute Racing, and we drive on board with the Audi Sport Asia Team Absolute driver. One of 3 this weekend. Frankie Chung and Christopher Haase are also part of the Absolute operation. Their first base for Ingo Mater and Fabian Fior was at Zhuhai. They still have a base, Absolute Racing, at Zhuhai. Now gone on to bases at Shanghai. I believe there's one in Thailand, certainly with the quick operation they were competing here last year. The safety car has gone. Marciello is back into it. We come through Fisherman's, heading down towards our bend. And Marciello, well, he's gone. Engel's asleep, or what's going on here? He's just disappeared. That's interesting. Was he suffering dramas? I'm a little bit at a loss for words as to what's going on here. Mauro Engel just let Marciello disappear. Now, I can't imagine they're under any kind of team orders with the Mercedes team. But, it could be that Engel's had dramas. He's disappeared. He's gone off the restart. So Mauro Engel had dramas. Now, that's made it very, very difficult for Mortara. He's backed up the entire field. Marciello is gone. This is now basically a battle over position number 2. So Mortara, he's got a big job ahead of him if he wants to close down that lead. It's out to 3.5 seconds already. Estra again wide into Lisboa. And Van der Linde will be doing what he can. And in all of that, Sarah's lost position to Farfus. So Farfus now up behind his teammate, the 2 BMWs. Immediately behind Edo Mortara. And Christopher Haase in all of that is back in position 10, although he's shown in position 9 on the scoreboard. So my live timing hasn't yet updated the next sector. So I'm assuming that we will see Haase now up into position number 9. He's got past Kevin Estra. Might see a little bit further back down the order. But Mortara can do what Mortara does. It's eyes forward now. He's got no one holding him up. It's just daylight. He's going to do everything he can to get away from the BMW from behind him, but for Maro Engel, much frustration. Now, what's going on now? It looked like there was a vehicle just in front of Mortara. Has there been an issue for Marciello? Perhaps not. Let's not highlight that at the moment. We get a wide shot out of Melko Hairpin. No, we don't. We can see the gap. It says it's 22 hundredths. There is the leader. So no drama there for Marciello at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what the laps are like. Now there's a little bit of fresh air for the man who set the new lap record yesterday, Edo Mortara. And where it is for Marciello, who's now got a little bit of a breather. He really doesn't need it. He's one of those drivers a little bit like New Zealander Shane van Gisbergen, who competes in supercars in Australia, who is absolutely natural, capable of extracting the last millimetre of track at any stage when he needs to. He's probably only doing just what he needs. Mortara's just busy trying to break the... Oh, just holding my breath as we're getting into Mandarin. It's not really a place where I think Van der Linde wanted to go too wide, but he was just trying to break the slipstream to get that BMW out from behind him. Doesn't have to worry about it now until he gets down again to our bend. A little bit of breathing room, but he would really like to try and extend that advantage. The BMW that time, you could see the advantage of the slipstream. The hole that the Audi was punching in the air, I mean, it's very slippery. Look at its design and style compared to that very solid front on the BMW, which again is obviously designed too for, well, not just marketing, but also for performance. But you'd have to argue that the Audi would slip through the air a little bit nicer than the BMW, you'd think, with that wedge front. But he just wasn't able to get away. Oh, did he just grab the tyres there? Doing what he can to try and extend the advantage, because he knows with what happened with the slipstream, he couldn't break it with Van der Linde. Van der Linde followed him. His best chance to get away and just open that advantage, effectively get out of DRS if you want to put it into F1 terms. He needs to extend that advantage across the top. Doesn't look like he's done any damage, but he has managed to break away from Van der Linde, and he'll want to keep pushing that all the way through the remainder of the lap just to get himself out of harm's way. He's opened up a good advantage now, 2.8 seconds the lead through Melko Hairpin, and he'll push hard down to our bend and get as quickly through our bend and onto that long straight as he can. A straight with two kinks in it. One of those kinks is Mandarin, but when you're not under fire or going through side by side, that is a little easier. Now he's got a bit of an advantage. He's broken that slipstream opportunity. That's a good thing, because now for Van der Linde, he'll be under fire from the man behind him, his teammate Augusto Farfus, and of course Daniel Serra immediately behind him. Haasler in position number 9. He's got Alessio Picariello immediately in front of him, the all blue entry, so if you look back towards the top of the screen, you might just pick them up. Maro Engel is in pit lane. So he did try and circulate, but clearly very, very slowly. So game over for the 3-time winner. What can the 4-time winner do? He's now in position number 2. He's got a former race winner ahead of him in Raffaele Marciello. 2.7 second deficit with 5 laps to go. Last time round a 2:17.3 for Marciello, a 2:17.299 for Mortara, a 2:18 dead for Farfus, a 2:18.1. So you can see 0.8 of a second pulled out of that. In fact, he's out to 2.2 seconds now advantage, and Farfus has taken position number 3. So I've missed that while I've been checking the timing monitor. What can Farfus do? So dramas for Van der Linde somewhere along the line. He's back in position number 7. So he's been into pit lane. One wonders whether or not there was a pit stop penalty. Apologies if that has popped up on screen and I have missed that, but certainly from what indications I have, I'm not aware of that. But if he's been into pit lane and back out again, that would tend to suggest that without damage, it's a likely drive-through. So may have been an issue on the start or the restart. Or could there have been some level of contact in the battle with Sarah, although I believe Sarah was ahead of him on the restart. As we look at that battle now for position number 3. So we've lost 2 of the big guns. We've lost Maro Engel. We've lost Sheldon van der Linde. And Christopher Haase has gotten past Alessio Picariello, so up now to position number 8. So the German driver, dual winner of the Nürburgring 24-hour race. He's been a regular in Asia, but this is only his 3rd start in the Macau GT race. He was lead Audi driver and 5th in 2019. Has perhaps not quite extracted what we might have expected from him during the course of the weekend so far. During practice, he played second fiddle very much to Adley Fong, and hasn't really found the pace that Mortara has been able to extract from the circuit. But again, it's Mr. Macau. It's a man who knows this circuit intimately. You see Farfus doing everything he can to try and catch him. 2:16.05 is still Sarah's benchmark lap. Mortara in the 17 dead last time round was 16.8 for Marciello. So Marciello's just controlling that gap. Now that was on board with Laurens Vanthoor, another former Audi competitor and winner for the brand with the 4 rings here at Macau in 2016 in that very, very unusual race where he completed, well, he's classified after finishing the race on his roof. They went on count back to the previous lap, where he was in fact the race leader. We're on board with Vanthoor looking back at Wind, the second of the Storm Riders. The first of the Storm Riders is up there in position number 2. Still holds a 2-second advantage over Farfus. Marciello, Mortara, Farfus, Sarah, Juncadella now up to position 5. Vanthoor, Haase, great job to be up to position number 7 and continuing to charge. He's tucked in behind Vanthoor and he's made fairly short work of a couple of Porsches in front of him already. So it looks like Haase has come good at the right time, trying to improve on his 5th place finish in 2019. He's only got 4 more laps to go. Juncadella's a little bit further up the circuit, about 1.1 second in front of Vanthoor. There he is, just going through Melco. You can see how tight the gap is. Trying to locate Frankie Chung. There he is on the tail of that group. So unfortunately for Frankie, he holds down position number 13. So he's made some good moves forward too, but unable to actually get past that gaggle of cars in front of him. Fastest 4th sector this lap for Edo Mortara. Half a second quicker than Marciello. So does he have another quick lap in him? Will he be coming good towards the closing stages of this race? The lead 2.9 seconds. That was at the last timing monitor. 2:16.3 is his best lap. He's just turned out a 2:16.39. Fastest man on the track by 0.3 of a second. Second quickest, Farfus. Third fastest, Marciello. Lead down to 2.6 seconds now. Christopher Haase, 2:17 dead. 2:16.9 to Vanthoor immediately ahead of him. Well, to be fair to Chris Haase, he can't really improve on his lap time when he's got a hulking great Porsche parked in front of him. So certainly capable of matching that time. What can he do in the final 3 laps? There is your race leader. This could be win number 2 to end what's been a very impressive career for Marciello as a factory driver for Mercedes. Moves on at the end of this weekend. So for him, he'd like nothing more than to take another victory, of course. And what a place to do it. Edo Mortara still pushing on hard. He'd like nothing more than to card an 8th outright victory. 4 in the GTs, 1 in the Audi Sport R8 LMS Cup, twice in the legendary Macau F3 Grand Prix. Best drivers in the world have come through this event over many years. Of course, this is the 70th running. Very much a regional championship in its formative years for open wheelers and touring cars. Was granted the rights of being a full Grand Prix. I think outside of New Zealand, it was the only event outside of Formula One which was classified as a Grand Prix under FIA. On board with Marciello. There is the storming cloud. He's certainly a storm rider. Is Edo Mortara still pushing on hard in position number 2. But that unfortunate drama that Mauro Engel appeared to have on the restart. Mortara couldn't pass him. He would be penalised, issued a drive-through penalty. That was everything that Marciello needed. He disappeared. Mauro Engel pulled out eventually down pit lane. Well, actually he didn't. He continued on, but that by the time Mortara knew that there was an issue for his long-time rival, it was too late. Game over, unfortunately, for the man in front of him. And game over with respect to the advantage he had. And you don't need to gift a driver like Marciello an opportunity like a 3-second lead and expect that he's just going to let that fall. He will take that with both hands. There is Van der Linde still pushing, knocking on the back door of Lawrence Vanthoor. Frankie Chun is coming into Lisboa. He'll be relatively happy with that. Continues what has been an illustrious career, certainly with Audi. He's done a lot of miles around the world. He's a factory favourite for Audi and FAW, certainly in China and throughout the Asian region. Zedo Mortara continues to push. No more purple sectors. They've probably extracted the best from the tyres. 2:16.6 last time for Marciello, 2:16.3 last time for Mortara. Lead at 2.3 seconds, so Mortara has certainly eaten into the advantage. It was out to 3.3. But Marciello's not going to do anything crazy. He doesn't need to, there's no need. He's doing everything he needs to just to get home comfortably. Of course, he's still pushing. Let's be honest, he's not easing off. It's when you start to ease off and things come to you a little bit more slowly. Braking points aren't where you've dialed your brain into at full speed. Your turn-in points are different. That can cause dramas. So whilst we say he's doing it comfortably, he's still pushing hard, but wary of the fact that he doesn't have to push 10 tenths. He can do 9.5 tenths, maintain that advantage, and open up the opportunity.